episode 8. Mike was good.
What's going on, bro?
Still dealing with Corona, bro. How you feeling?
Feeling decent, man. Corona been smooth to me. It's been a blessing in disguise as far as mentally, financially, physically. Like I've been losing a lot of weight, running, eating better.
Personal growth, bro.
Yeah, man. It's been helping me realize what I want to do for the rest of my life and my career choices, and it's giving me the time, the opportunity to work towards them, network with people,
How's that on your mentals, bro? Because a lot of people like striving to figure out what they want to be in life.
Well, I feel like I already knew. I mean, obviously that we went to school for this type of thing, so I've known for a while now what I wanted to do is just this really pushed me towards it. Not relying on nobody else or relying on a job. Like, I want to work for myself, do my own thing, have my own path. And this situation just really brought that light out. Like, you can do it in your time.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. Sean, how you feeling, bro?
Man, feeling good, man. Been editing from the crib, working from the crib now. So, got multiple sources of income starting to flow. So, financially, definitely feeling good. Like Mike said, blessing in disguise for real. Because it just shifted a lot of stuff a certain way for me. So, in a good way, though. A lot of positive stuff going on. Just across the board, family, friends, all that smooth. So, feeling good. It's just in the storm. You feel me? Like, the corona is really like we in the storm and that shit. We just waiting for the storm to pass for real.
I feel like we discussed this last pod, basically saying like it's so many positives that's gonna show eventually throughout this. I'm just glad we all seen it now, though. So what y'all been doing? Just quarantining?
Man, I'm almost in a routine now. I wake up, go for a run. Usually I record during the day. I try to network with at least 2 to 3 people a day outside of the area. I work out again, so I've been working out like twice a day. Come home, cook. It's like the same thing now. But I've been seeing my people a lot more though, so that's definitely always a positive. Yeah, man, just trying to like save and articulate my next move.
Definitely been trying to save. They don't make it easy on you though. It's been a lot. It's been a lot dropping I've been on and trying to spend properly. I've been in TV shows though, like Netflix, heavy.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know Ozark was that good, bro.
I still ain't started, bro.
Like Ozark is amazing, bro. You watched Money Heist, right?
Yeah.
You said that was a good show?
Mm-hmm.
See, I haven't even watched that. I gotta get to that one. I didn't watch The Tiger King. Like it's so many shows.
What? You still ain't watched
I ain't
The
watching
Tiger
none of
King,
that,
bro?
bro. I ain't watching none of that. Yeah, I gotta catch up on a few Netflix things, but the main thing I've been watching has been this Jordan doc, bro. Like every Sunday, glued to the TV, like just it's almost like I'm preparing for it the whole day. I'm like, man, I can't wait till this come on, doing stuff to pass the time, like. So we finally finished the doc last night. I had to stay up late just to finish it. So overall, what were your overall thoughts of the doc?
Definitely the greatest documentary I ever watched, for sure.
Just to that?
Yeah, I'm gonna say,
okay.
yeah. I was debating last night when I was thinking about what I'm gonna say. I was saying top 3 for sure, because I couldn't really think of all of them at the time, but I was never really like looking forward to one like how I was looking forward to it. Like you said, like, damn, I can't wait till tomorrow, Last Dance. I was really sad last night, like this the last episode. It was just entertaining, and it was deeper than basketball. It was great, man, for real. Definitely a 10 out of 10 for me.
10 out of 10. Overall, I enjoyed it, bro. At first, I don't want to say it was taking me some time, but at first I was definitely like trying to understand how they were trying to portray him. It was coming off like his role was so perfect, and that was kind of throwing me off a little bit. I'm like, I don't want it to look like this. And then they eventually show like some ups and downs he went through off the court that I was like, okay, like Jordan is a human being at the end of the day. So it was great to see that though, man. But just like you, I was glued to the entire time. So starting off with episode 1, just want to take it basically a weekend at a time. Episode 1 was really about like Jerry Krause being such labeled like the bad guy. You know, he had that famous quote saying organizations win championships, not players. They showed a lot of Jordan at UNC, how he basically went through college, became the man after Worthy, everything like that. And then it was a little bit of him in the league, like early, rookie, just showing like, I think the biggest takeaway was like his teammates doing drugs. So what were your thoughts after the first episode?
Just how he came in the game and immediately took over. Like they said he was there like a week and he was already the best player on the team.
Yeah.
It was just showing like, it was almost like he was destined to be what he was. As far as Jerry, I don't know, man. I'm cool on Jerry, bro.
Cool on Jerry.
Definitely cool on Jerry. I just don't understand his reasoning for the things he did.
It depends how you look at some things. There was a few things I was trying to understand that was being mentioned later in other episodes, but from his whole issue with Phil Jackson was definitely something I couldn't grasp.
Right.
I guess it was what they were trying to say in the documentary, that he had issues with Phil getting all of the attention, players getting all the attention. He wasn't getting talked about. But understand that you're a GM, you're going to be behind the scenes.
Right,
you do a lot of work without getting a lot of praise. You know, you like a role player that means a lot more to the team than people that watch the screen realize. And you just got to know that that's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the brains behind the operation is always going to get less credit than the face. I mean, you just got to understand that going into it. And I feel like he let his ego get in the way of potentially what could have been an even longer run.
Yeah.
He was just, I don't know, it was always coming off as he was very childish to be in that position of power. Yeah, so I'm definitely cool with Jerry.
What are your thoughts of the fact that he's being portrayed like this and he can't defend himself? He can't defend any trade he made, like the Oakley trade. It worked out, but you know, he can't speak on how difficult that might have been, or he can't speak on the thoughts he had going into the last year. Like, he can't really speak on any of it. They're just showing his terrible media interviews that he did have in the moment.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, what I think of, he can't defend it now, is what you're saying?
Yeah, he can't defend it today.
I don't know.
Like, how do you feel when you make a documentary about somebody who can't defend themselves and they're being portrayed in like a negative light like this? Yeah.
Well, can he though? Is it his choice not to defend it, or I don't know? I would have to research that. Like, is it his choice? Like, did he have the opportunity to defend himself, or is he just like whatever they do is whatever they do?
I'm not sure when this date was filmed, but obviously Jerry Krause has passed, so
yeah,
I'm not sure.
I don't know, man. It's tough because I wouldn't want to be put in that situation. You know, everybody should have a chance to defend themselves, but when it's too many times of you doing questionable things or saying questionable things in the public eye, I don't know how anyone can defend it.
Yeah.
You know, I can see if he was like a 20-year-old kid or like our age, you know, you grow up, you mature, but he was already older at the time. You're a general manager of a team. You should already know, especially in the public eye, what to say and what not to say.
So, going on to some of the questionable things he did took us into episode 2, which is really about Scotty's contract situation, being the 6th highest paid player on the team, 122nd highest paid player in the league, only getting $2.8 million a year. And, you know, it was kind of, you know, he handled his injury a certain way, but you saw how important he was to the team when he didn't play. You saw Jordan say when they mentioned Michael Jordan, they should mention Scottie Pippen. So obviously, Scotty was so important to the team. I don't know, man. I feel like the owner should get more accountability as well for this situation. Because, you know, not to touch on the last episode, but in the very last doc, it shows the owner, Jerry Weinstein, mentioned that, you know, I asked Phil to come back for a 7th year. So if he was going to overrule Jerry Krause in that, he could overrule him in a few other things.
Yeah.
You know, Jerry Krause doesn't have to say what he says, this is Phil's last year, publicly, if Jerry Weinstein overrules that. You know, so it's more of me wanting to not exclude Jerry Krause, but have people notice like the owner could have did more too.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't just Jerry Krause for sure. And that is in particular talking about the Scotty contract. Really, all three of them should be held accountable. I mean, I understand why Scotty did it because of like the situation his family was in and where he came from. I definitely get it, but at the end of the day, I can't sign a contract and be mad that I signed it.
Yeah, Scotty was in a very, very unique situation. His home life, everything like that. I don't know, man. It's very tough when you living in it, and we can't relate to that at all. But it almost comes off like, damn, where was Scotty's agent when this was happening?
That's what his agent, his family. I mean, I get it.
Teammates giving the proper advice, like, oh man, don't do this.
Your veterans, like, where is all that? Yeah.
But the doc does explain, like, Scotty was already having injuries early in his career, and he wanted to be safe and things like that. But it was such a lengthy contract. Man.
Yeah, that was
such a lengthy contract.
A trash contract, bro.
Yeah. So you were fine with the way he handled that? Like, y'all not gonna pay me, I'm gonna get my surgery. At the start of the season, I believe. It was like start of training camp. He said,
it was
okay, I'm having surgery now.
It was early.
Yeah. Said he wanted to enjoy his summer.
I don't necessarily agree 100% on how he handled it because at the end of the day, you do have to be professional about it. You know, y'all in the midst of this title run. But at the same time, who's to tell him? Like, who has the right to tell him you can't take care of your body? Obviously, your future financially is not really stable with this organization. So if you do have a chance to leave, you got to make sure your body's right so you can get paid. So, I mean, do I feel like it was necessary? Probably. Was it the right way? Nah.
Yeah, probably wasn't the right way.
Nah.
I definitely didn't like it. I feel like Scotty could have did a few things differently. It kind of came off like himself before the team, which he has another moment like that later in the doc. So I don't want to say it showed Scotty's character, but it definitely showed that Scotty wasn't just the ultimate best wingman.
Yeah.
You know, like he had his flaws too. And that was okay because they won 6 chips.
Right.
Also in the doc, it was like the Bulls attempting to tank. You know, they tried to hold Jordan out. They somehow win that last game off. I think it was a buzzer beater. It was very close to one. And then they go to playoffs. Jordan dropped 63 on the Celtics. Like, it was just showing how much he elevated in his young career.
Yeah, he was extremely young. Second year, right? And the only reason they made the playoffs is because he said he went crazy in that minute restriction that they had on him.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like,
Which I didn't have a problem with. I didn't have a problem with that. Coming from a GM owner standpoint, like, look, there's nothing we playing for right now. If we tank, we can get you some help for the following years. You going through an injury that could be career threatening. There's no reason for you to play 20 minutes a game in a losing season.
Right.
So I definitely understand it. But like I said, this was some of the early things I were like, they trying to portray Jordan to be like the best upstander athlete ever.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, even when they don't want him to play, he wants to play. Like, you know, some of that was like...
I mean, that was crazy, though. Like, he scored, 18 and 13 minutes or something like that? I mean, that was crazy. But I get what you're saying, though.
Like, they were doing the right thing for the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah. I mean, any organization in that situation would do that, regardless of who the player is. Yeah, definitely.
Jordan has a mindset like, just get us there, and you don't know what's going to happen. We shouldn't just quit. Yeah. So I get it. Episode 3, it was a lot of Dennis Rodman, him joining the Bulls, him almost committing suicide but falling asleep in that car. Yeah. He had the gun in the car. He said, luckily I fell asleep. And he said he was at a lost place at the time. Then he took the load management. He went to Vegas with his girl. And they show other old clips of like Doug Collins with Michael and Mike getting MVP, dunk contest, you know, everything like that. and then the early struggles with the Pistons. So talking about episode 3.
Dennis Rodman is wild, first of all. That is a wild dude. But one thing I will say about Dennis, though, is he's loyal to his team, bro. Yeah. I would give him that for sure. Like, he might not be there all the way mentally all the time, but he understands, like, hey, I need to step away, but I'm going to be back, and I'm going to give you all I got. No matter what, every time he stepped on that court, he gave all he got. So you got to respect him for that.
Yeah, that was, I saw the tweets like, yo, Dennis Rodman was the first dude to take load management. That was actually crazy that he was able to do that.
Yeah, for real.
I think they really had enough trust in him for him to be how he was.
Yeah, Phil had a lot of trust in him.
Like, you had to.
That comes with understanding people, though. Mm-hmm. You got to treat everybody different.
Yeah.
He's a unique character, so you got to treat him a unique way, like a different way. And I think that was a great move by Phil, for real. Like, one of his probably more underrated moves. Because without Rodman, the chip dinner don't happen.
Yeah, because we saw the year they didn't have Horace Grant and they didn't have Dennis Rodman yet. They had no interior help at all. So he was definitely needed.
Yeah.
Definitely needed. What you make of the whole Doug Collins situation? Like, pre-Phil Jackson, just, you know, they said eventually the Bulls would have got over this hump and Doug Collins could have coached this team like Phil Jackson.
Yeah. I don't know if that's true. I think Doug was great for that team, though. He was the great bridge in between. Just because he did teach them how to win regular season wise. I think he was good for Mike to see a different end of coaching. Because I can't remember the first coach's name, but he said basically he just let him do whatever he wanted. And Doug brought some structure.
Well, Doug really gave Mike the biggest green light possible. And they said the difference with Phil Jackson was it was more of he brought a team offense into the mix. So Jordan was going to love Doug regardless because Doug was going to give Jordan the ball anytime he wanted the ball. Yeah. Phil was more so like, Mike, you got to move the ball. We got to use other players. We got to make everybody a threat for you to be your best.
And I feel like he needed to learn that. It's better to have that green light earlier in your career so you can see, like, this not working.
Yeah.
For you to be able to listen to Phil or willing to listen, if that makes sense.
There's so many what ifs with that. Because you never know, like, Doug could have adjusted. Just like we say, the Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Mark Jackson could have adjusted, or Steph Curry, Clay, Draymond could have just elevated to a point that it almost don't matter who the coach. The talent is going to just overcome whatever's in front of them.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one of those what ifs, but Phil Jackson definitely brought something new to the table. I know a lot of people that are Bulls fans definitely were upset that was the thing, that they removed Doug Collins. Like, it seemed like the whole fan base loved Doug Collins. Like, people I still talk to, like older generations, are like, oh, Doug Collins should have still been with that team. Like, he would have got the same job.
Yeah, and that's definitely a valid argument because we all know that if you're a special talent, it kind of don't matter who coaches. I mean, look at Braun, bro. He done had some bogus coaches, and they still got to the finals, or still
like the David Blatt thing.
Like David Blatt is a perfect example. Got a ring. You know what I'm saying? He's a terrible coach.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it might not have mattered, but Phil also brought that. He literally did make everyone a threat on the court, and I mean, it's hard to argue Phil, bro.
Yeah. Early Bulls struggles with Pistons. What do you make of the Pistons, bro?
Pistons was tough. There was bullies, basically. That's what it was. Not taking anything from them. You know, Isaiah, one of the greatest point guards of all time.
Needs to get more respect.
Joe Dumars, one of the greatest two-way players of all time.
Doesn't get mentioned enough.
I don't think Bill Laimbeer is a great player per se, but he fit that team perfectly.
He fit that style of play in that era,
right?
For sure.
You know, Rodman, of course. So it was I mean, every team has that. Every team has that. We got to beat this team, get over the hump, and the Pistons just happened to be it.
Yeah. The Pistons was definitely tough, man. They were definitely tough. What's the right word? Good thing the Pistons happened to Jordan, or Jordan would have been losing to teams like the Knicks and the Pacers because he never bulked up back then to mentally prepare himself for battles that came later. Because the Knicks were just as tough, but that was down the road. So if he didn't have those obstacles in the past, he would have been prepared for those. Same with the Pacers, another tough team. It was just like, look, I've seen this before. Like, I'm good.
Right.
So it was a good thing that the Pistons did come around when they came around.
Yeah. Yeah, even not just mentally, but physically after they lost that series. And he put on what they say, 15, 20 pounds of muscle, just straight muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was crazy, bro.
So episode 4 really was just Phil's backstory. Bulls finally beat the Pistons, and they beat the Lakers for their first championship. Thoughts on seeing Jordan getting his first chip?
He's arrived. I mean, who they beat, the Blazers, right?
No, he beat the Lakers.
Lakers first time. Yeah, he's arrived, man. Took down Magic. He here now, and that was also around the time when we seen the growth of Scotty, like Scotty becoming Scotty, and becoming that second person to help that he needed.
I think the biggest thing in the episode was like them not getting rattled when Rodman pushed Pippen that hard. Like they just really stayed calm. They were like, they have to do this because they know they're not good enough. And it was just like they took the storm head on, overcame obstacles. So then that took us into episode 5 that featured Kobe, Jordan talking about Kobe. Quote was, that Laker boy is going to take everybody one-on-one. So it was kind of like, that was something people probably said about Jordan, like behind the scenes. So that was like interesting to hear Jordan say that about Kobe. Jordan actually didn't want to be with Nike. He wanted to sign with Adidas, but Adidas didn't have a shoe ready, which was the oddest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You're Adidas. You have the number 3rd pick in the draft wanting to sign with you, and you don't have a shoe. And you can't make a shoe in enough time. Like, that's just... It's not even about that it's Jordan. It's just like you have the number 3rd pick in the draft wanting to sign with you.
Yeah, it was so unprepared.
Most people don't even want to sign with you. They go Converse.
Right.
Back in the time. So that was just crazy. Like, you really don't have a shoe ready.
It was so unprepared, bro.
Yeah, like, that was just crazy.
I was like, dude, what?
Other things in the doc was just the Bulls beating Portland and the Dream Team getting assembled without Isaiah. So, what was your biggest draw? Was the All-Star game, Dream Team?
It was definitely those Dream, when they were talking about the Dream Team practices. I know we like hear stories about it all the time, but just seeing his dominance when you're playing with the greatest players on the planet was kind of mind-boggling, bro. Like, Magic started talking to him, and he like, okay, and just took off, like took over the practice, bro. That was crazy. I definitely loved the part where they was talking about Tony Kukoc too. I think that was pretty funny. That Scotty and Mike was on there with Tony. Yeah, that was probably my favorite part from those 2 episodes.
I'm really glad we had this doc because talking to older people, they will say Isaiah wasn't on there because Jordan ain't want him on there. Nobody wanted him on there.
Nah.
Like, I blame a lot of older people for not making that more clear. Like, it wasn't just a Jordan thing. Like, Magic didn't want to. I didn't know he had issues with Karl Malone. I didn't know Barkley really didn't care, so he wasn't going to defend him in any kind of way. Pippen obviously didn't like him. We talking about 4 of the 6 greatest players on the team. So it wasn't just a Jordan thing. I'm glad that was kind of finally cleared up.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that was cleared up.
I mean, a lot of you do have those mix of people who will say, you know, oh, well, Jordan didn't want Isaiah, so he went on there. But you do also have the other side of people like, hey, Isaiah was a crybaby, bro. And during that era of basketball, they did not mess with it at all. They felt like Isaiah was a crybaby. He was like, you know,
Why they feel like that?
Why they feel like Isaiah was a crybaby? Because he whined a lot.
Well, a lot of it, to me, outside looking in, looked like he was just fighting for what he felt was deserved of him.
I guess
especially since he's always majority of the time the smallest player on the court.
It just comes off as weak because of the team you play on.
Mm-hmm.
I think. You play on the Bad Boys Pistons, but you want to complain when you get fouled, or you want to cry when you get hit hard. And I think in the 80s and 90s, they just wasn't really rocking with it. You know?
See, that's the difference, because when Jordan complained hard, they put it in the paper, they blew it up, they Pistons bad for basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah complained, it's like, stop complaining.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, that those things like that is just why I was like, why are they portraying everybody around Jordan to be not perfect like that? Like, Jordan complained over some calls too?
No, definitely. I think it's just because the Bulls weren't as physical and playing like the Bad Boys Pistons. So it didn't come off as like, well, you complaining about the same thing your team doing. You know, like Jordan getting beat up, but they trying to play the right way. You know, the whole handshake incident. You know, I think all of those things went to into the choice. Like the chemistry gonna be off if you put Isaiah on this team.
What did you make of the handshake incident?
I think it was petty.
Why don't they call it petty when the Celtics did that?
I don't know. It was petty both.
Like, that's so crazy to me.
Yeah. I definitely understood what Isaiah was saying. Like, that's what the Celtics did to us, so we do it to them.
But he's smarter than that, though. He know that's not how you pass the torch. He definitely tried to use that as a cop-out for what he did.
Yeah, he did. Either way, it was petty for the Celtics. It was petty for them. You know, passing the torch, I mean, it happens, bro.
I think Isaiah just assumed, like, this is not going to be a big thing, because it wasn't a big thing when the Celtics did it.
Yeah.
But he should have knew it was a target on his back for a long time, based on their play style and everything like that.
That's what it was. A lot of the targets they brought on themselves, strictly off of play style and how they were in the media.
This episode made me upset, though, man. I wanted to see so much more Kobe. Like, I wanted to see just Kobe talk more about Jordan and their earlier matchups.
Yeah.
I wanted that to be featured, like, one more time.
I thought it was going to be more Kobe, too.
Yeah. So then it goes on to episode 6, which is a lot of Mike's gambling in the middle of that New York Knicks playoff matchup in the conference finals that ended up going 7 games. Just because Mike went to go gamble the night before game 2. But the Bulls ultimately went on, beat Phoenix in the finals. Jordan admits to being mentally and physically exhausted. He says championship felt like a relief and not a joy. What's your thoughts?
I'm glad they showed the gambling thing. Like you said in the beginning, like it showed that, he is human. He's not perfect. And he has his problems, you know.
All the haters was ready to see that because they wanted to throw stones at Jordan for the gambling.
Yeah.
So they was ready for that. They was thirsty for that.
I'm glad they showed that part of it because that is a big part of his life, though. Even like when I see him gambling with the security guards, I'm like, hey,
like
they was gambling flipping a quarter, bro.
Yeah, like I don't want to say he had an issue because he cleared it up by saying like, look, if I had an issue, I'd be pawning my wife's ring and I'd be gambling my house, you know, crazy stuff. Which I get what he's saying. But dude is just pregame like, yo, y'all trying to gamble.
Right.
That's
like,
kind of like
at the wall, bro. Like,
okay. It was good to see Mike get some backlash because if we didn't see that, they would have been like, he wouldn't have made it in this era because of the media backlash he didn't receive back then. Mike was getting killed by the media back then, saying he wasn't focused, saying his head wasn't in it. Do you have an issue when players do that before or in the middle of a playoff series? Like, yo, I just want to clear my head. Because that's ultimately what he was saying it was.
Yeah. I mean, I don't personally because, I mean, shit, it become overwhelming, bro.
Yeah.
You know, we in this tough series against this tough team. They physical. This was a third chip or the second chip?
This was the third one.
The third chip. So you already done went back to back. You definitely physically and mentally exhausted. It's good to step away sometimes. So, I mean, obviously, you're the greatest player on the planet at that time, so you're going to get killed for it. But
I had to look myself in the mirror after this one. Because I used to get on Bron when they were in that losing season with the Lakers, but he was posting all his, like, personal accomplishments.
Yeah.
That made me look in the mirror and say, maybe this is Bron's version of saying, like, look, I'm just trying to get away from all the struggles. Like, I'm just trying to find the positives in this. So that I had to look myself in the mirror on that. Like, I was too hard on Bron for that.
Yeah.
Because I was definitely like, yo, Bron not locked in. They not even in the playoffs right now. Like, he posting personal accomplishments.
He was with 2 Chainz and dancing.
Yeah, I'm like, he not really into this team. They already rumors they gonna trade everybody, and then he was like bigging up Giannis and Giannis's coach, saying like, you know, like they have a real system over there. They're getting the best out of everybody. It was like he was taking shots at his own players and his own coaching staff by bigging up other coaching staffs. And then he ultimately, you know, had posted a picture like saying he surpassed. It was somebody on the scoring list though at the time.
Yeah.
I was just like, you know, that's just not, he not really dialed into me. But maybe that was him just trying to celebrate some type of light throughout that season because it was such a bumpy season.
Yeah. Or even just reflecting on himself for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're that big of a star, it's always about team.
Yeah.
You don't really have a chance to reflect on. Damn,
I just felt it was bad timing.
It was bad timing for sure.
Like if Jordan them steal game 1, it's not bad timing that he goes gamble. It's like, look, we did our job. We stole 1 game. We got home court now.
Mm-hmm.
I did my part.
Yeah, it was bad timing.
Yeah.
I understand the reason. It was just, like you said, at the wrong moment.
Yeah. I love that Mike said he admits he was physically and mentally exhausted. Because everybody that is a Jordan fan, Bulls fan, Bulls could have went 8 straight. Mm-hmm. How if he exhausted after 3?
Yeah, the Warriors even said that too.
Yeah.
The Warriors said that too, and they went like back to back that third one.
He gonna go 5.
They said they was mentally exhausted too.
Bro, it's tough, bro. 82 game season, you gotta figure by the time you get to the finals, you done play 100 games. Mm-hmm. 3 years in a row.
Yeah, because you done play every game you know that the playoff got to offer exactly. For that season.
And then it's not like Jordan was low management wasn't really a thing, so it ain't like he was taking games off. Mm-hmm. And then it's already the 90s, so it's more physical game, night in, night out. You catching the best defender, damn near 2 every night. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
You're not human if you're not tired, bro.
I'm just glad that was said, because I never liked that notion that they would have won 8 straight.
Like automatically,
yeah. I definitely like
it ain't an easy thing because you're just a fan on the outside looking in. It's easy to look at it like that. Yeah.
Struggling, grinding.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to episode 7, the death of Jordan's father. Obviously, we said the media was killing him on other things about gambling. Now they were trying to tie in the gambling to his father's death. Jordan retires from NBA, plays baseball. We got to see how the Bulls were without Jordan. We got to see how Phil was coaching without Jordan. We saw Pippen sick in like that playoff moment. Mm-hmm. What was that game? What was that? Game 3?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
So he was game 3. And it was a lot being showed about like Jordan's leadership a little bit. So what did you make of the whole media trying to tie in his father's death?
That was terrible, bro. Mm-hmm. Terrible. Even if you felt like that, that is not something you put in the public. That's not something you put in the paper. Regardless if it's Jordan or if it's Steve Kerr, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's I don't know, man. At the end of the day, this man lost his father tragically in a murder at that. Mm-hmm. And you want to tie it into his own problems, you know what I'm saying, his gambling or whatever the case may be. I think that was terrible, man. That was one of the worst media breaks, I think, that I can think of at the time, I should say.
Yeah, this made you want to, like, I wanted to see these media people, like, get fired in this doc. Yeah. Like, I wanted to see that. I wanted to see them write this, and then now let's see them get fired, because that's what they deserve. Mm-hmm. Like, it was terrible that was really being said.
Right.
Especially immediately as it was being said.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just exactly what people went to. Like, that was just terrible to see.
Yeah.
What you make of Jordan baseball career? Some say he was terrible.
Yeah.
Some say he was better than other prospects on that team.
Yeah.
And some say he would have made it to the majors if he stuck with it.
Yeah. I think he probably would have, honestly. Mm-hmm.
I don't think we really like questioning that though, just because the media attention, like, of course you would have put Jordan in the majors.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
Even if he was bad, like get him up there for ticket sales, everything, like media press, like everything. Get him there eventually, but do it slowly so it looks like he earned it.
Yeah.
So,
but even the coaches though was saying like he was progressing at a rapid pace, and he was like his numbers were along the lines of their best Cactus League players. I just think like with how he was, his competitiveness and like his desire to just get better, I think eventually he would have became a decent major player. I don't know. You know, he didn't play for that long enough. But you gotta think he was out of baseball for a long time, bro.
yeah.
To just come back and can at least compete.
Yeah.
It's like
so we saw Pippen sit in the playoff moment. I guess that was just another reflection of how Pippen just, what's the right word? It just showed part of his character that he was just not into himself, because Pippen was definitely a pass-first guy, facilitator. He was definitely a team player.
Yeah.
But when it came to certain things, I don't think he really knew how to think about the team before himself sometimes. But Pippen had some rights to feel selfish. I mean, for Jordan to be gone, y'all been loving Kukoc before he even got here for years. When you could have argued that he didn't want to be with the team. He wanted to stay over there for his own personal reasons. I've been here this whole time while getting underpaid, not saying that much. Now it's my time, and you can't give me the touches.
Yeah.
Especially when it's not from Jerry Krause. This is from Phil. Like, you know, at that time, he probably felt like it's me and Phil in this. And now Phil is taking the ball out of my hands. Jerry Krause is taking money out of my hands. Like, there's so many things that I could see going through his head in that moment. But it definitely just revealed his character at the time as a player. It definitely showed that.
I think it showed that everybody's not built to be that guy on the team, bro. I mean, it takes a certain type of person to accept that, like everything you just said, and still be like, that's the play, that's what we're trying to do. I mean, at the end of the day, in that situation, it is about the team. That's a whole playoff game, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that was a bad decision by him, a bad move.
But to give Pippen credit, though, the team got back on track so quickly, though.
Yeah.
So it just shows the true chemistry they had in the locker room.
Yeah, they love Pippen, bro.
Yeah.
He was definitely a great teammate.
Going to episode 8, Jordan comes back. They lose to the Magic. Jordan's filming Space Jam, gets back in the groove, punches Steve Kerr as they go on their road to 72-10, beat the Sonics, and then the iconic moment of Jordan crying on Father's Day. What you make of Jordan punching Steve Kerr?
It was wild, bro.
I couldn't imagine somebody punching somebody else in this era.
Yeah. It would be blown up. Like,
yeah.
Crazy, bro.
Like somebody on that level.
Yeah.
Do you think Jordan was a good leader? I feel like this was the episode where people was like, yo, Jordan was a bad leader.
Do I think he was a good leader? Yes, I think he was a good leader. Do I think he had the best tactics? No. Definitely not. But I do think at the end of the day, he was a great leader. And when we get to that last episode, I think that's what really shows you. Like, he was aggressive for sure, but I truly believe deep down inside that he legit wanted the best. He just wanted the best out of everybody on that team. And when we get in this situation, I'm hard on you, so you're ready for it.
Was this the episode at the end where Jordan was like kind of crying, like if you don't want to lead this way,
yeah,
don't lead that way?
Yeah,
that was weird. I felt like something must have been cut out right there.
You think so?
Because what they were talking about wasn't enough to make him cry. Not to me.
Yeah, I was a little confused.
I feel like something had to be cut right there.
Or maybe he was just like reflecting. I don't know. But yeah, that's when he was like choking up a little bit. Like that's not how it was taught.
I'm more so mad at his teammates. They didn't have enough pushback. Like, outside of Steve Kerr, I didn't really hear nobody fighting Jordan. No. And Jordan was talking crazy to everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Like, I would have been fought Jordan. Like, first season.
Yeah.
Like, that's so crazy to me. Like, I'm kind of confused at the teammates that didn't have more pushback. But he never talked to Scotty like this, obviously. It was always the players he was unsure of.
Yeah. He said he felt like he did it to people he felt who needed that push.
Yeah,
but I'm just like you though. I mean,
yeah, you don't know where you don't know where I'm coming from, bro.
Right? Yeah, to just talk to me crazy like that. I understand the push, but that's why I said like his tactics wasn't always the best. I mean, hey, he cracked Steve Kerr, and Steve Kerr was a big player for them, especially in playoffs as far as hitting shots.
Yeah, and we saw that in episodes 9 and 10. So, did you have extra thoughts from 9 and 10 that we saw yesterday, like the Reggie Miller or some more Jordan leadership?
Well, I said. Well, first of all, I like I said, Jordan's a great leader, bro. And I feel like without his leadership, that last ring wouldn't have happened. Because Scottie Becker's done, bro. Like, he really took that upon himself and was like, I'm finna will us to this championship. Steve Kerr definitely deserved a lot of respect, for sure, too, in those last 2 rings. Because he was ready for the moment, not just that one. Same thing with Rodman again. You know, he was on wrestling. But next day he came to play, bro. And he was battling.
That was wild, too. Like, I'm surprised we haven't heard some of those things before.
Yeah, about the wrongs.
Yeah, right. I'm just surprised we haven't, like, heard some of this. Or, like, I haven't seen any of those clips before. I'm just, like, shocked by that.
As far as Reggie, you know, like I said, Reggie.
What's your beef with the Pacers, man?
I think Reggie was a great player, but I think Reggie, by certain people, gets overrated a little bit. I'm gonna say that.
So when we put on IG the Mark Jackson comment, did you agree with that?
No.
So Reggie shouldn't got a statue?
I don't think Reggie deserves a statue, and to back that up, I'm gonna ask why. Why does he deserve one?
Well, for him to be on a small market team, actually want to be there, and actually take that team to the biggest heights they've ever been at. There's something to say about it, especially since they haven't got anybody since then that's been fully committed to Indiana. That's like fully invested in wanting to stay there, build that team up, take out anybody in the path. Like, I think they hit, if you combine his finals appearances and conference finals appearances, it was like 6. Obviously a Hall of Famer. You know, I wouldn't be mad if he had a statue or he didn't, but I would understand why you gave it to him just because of who's been here before him and after.
So his impact on the organization,
on the city. Like, you look at that logo, who else do you think of?
Right. If you're giving it to him based off of that, I'm not going to argue that. But based off of him as a player, I wouldn't. Like, I'm not giving a statue to a 5-time All-Star. Not only, but an 18 point per game scorer for your career. It's like you're almost a glorified all-star. To me, Reggie is Clay, a better Clay, in a sense. And I wouldn't give him a statue based off of just that alone.
A better Clay?
Reggie's one of the clutchest players in history. No doubt, we know that. But if you're only a 5-time All-Star, never been MVP, only made third team All-NBA twice, and you play for 18 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, damn, how good are you really? That's my question. That would be my question. If you go on impact organization, definitely feel that 100%. But if you're going because he's a great player, he deserves a statue, can't really agree with that one.
I definitely feel like it's just the timing he was with the organization. Like, pushing Jordan 7 was huge for them. The battles with the Knicks was huge for them. Like, I wouldn't be mad if Patrick Ewing had a statue. If that's what they decided to do.
That was
I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at that.
My question was going to be, so are you giving all of these players statues that have that same impact? Like, is KG getting a statue in Minnesota? And to me, KG was a way better player than Reggie.
Well, the thing with the Minnesota situation was like, KG was like a first-round exit. Reggie Miller took his team
they went to the conference finals before.
Yeah, but that's just what, how do I say this? Summing up his Minnesota career was like, they wasn't really that good. It was him with no help.
Yeah.
Reggie Miller was like, yo, you almost took down Jordan. You hit the finals. You had battles with the Knicks. Like,
he had a lot of.
It looks a lot more smooth.
I think it's more of like, I don't like when people say it was just Reggie, because as we seen in those last episodes, like it was definitely more than just Reggie. Like you had Rick Smith, you had Mark Jackson, you had Jalen Rose. Like you had other pieces there, and I feel like that same player, let's say Reggie played for a team that didn't have all of that, would they have gotten that far? So based off of saying he's a top 50 player, we would have to think about that for sure. But just saying it like off the strength, Reggie automatically top 50 player. Like I would think on that. You know what I'm saying? So when you think of someone who has a statue outside the arena, you're like, bro's probably a top 50 player, top 25 player. Like, let's think about people who got statues. You know what I'm saying? Shaq, Jordan, Kobe, Magic, Kareem. That's where.
Does AI have a statue?
I don't know.
Oh, then Reggie can't get no statue.
And that's what, for
sure. Reggie can't get no statue.
Definitely.
If AI don't got a statue, like if we gonna start talking about people that haven't won, if AI don't got a statue, none of y'all can get one.
No, for sure.
Carl can get a statue though.
Yeah, but Carl was once again a way better player than Reggie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You
can argue Carl getting one off the strength of he's a top 20 player all the time.
Yeah. I like Reggie though, bro.
Nah, I definitely ain't got no beef with him for sure. But I just want to put that out there.
Yeah. Since we're running out of time, we're gonna move on to some NFL, man. We just saw a few different things shake up in free agency. We saw Jameis Winston go to the Saints, Andy Dalton go to the Cowboys, Dak still hasn't been signed. Brandon Cooks got traded to the Texans. Gronk going to the Bucks for a 4th round pick. 49ers upgrading, getting Trent Williams. Cam Newton still hasn't been signed. What's been most surprising to you?
Still the Cam.
Still the Cam?
Still Cam not being signed.
I don't know where Cam will go. See, I didn't notice this when we did the other episode, but the Panthers, they hold a bigger hand in this than I think I realized. They released Cam very late. They did it almost a week after free agency started.
Yeah, it was late.
So that doesn't allow him to get those first initial meetings for teams to reach out, everything like that. That was very bad on their part, especially for somebody that's been as loyal as Cam is, who didn't want to leave, who wanted to stay. And now you release him in this fashion where he doesn't have free range to sign.
Yeah.
Like he does, but teams have already made certain moves in other directions where it's like, damn, we could have had Cam. Can't do that now. Yeah, it's too late. And there's other teams like, damn, we need a backup, but Cam ain't gonna do this.
Right.
So, they put him in a bad spot. I feel like that's not being highlighted enough.
At the time, he said now that he will. I think like last week. Yeah.
But now he has no choice. Now he has to say the right things to show he's the most team-oriented guy and he'll be patient. Now he has to say all of those things versus like, look, I'm Cam Newton. Like, I'm ready to ball. Call my phone.
Right.
Now it's like he got to fit in somewhere now versus like he just go somewhere and be the man.
I just don't understand why no one gives him a chance. It's really low risk, low reward. I mean, low risk, high reward situation. Like the Chargers just drafted a quarterback, bro, a rookie quarterback. They have a win now roster. They really do. Yep. So if you sign Cam and you get 80% Cam, you're definitely in a better situation than whatever a rookie finna bring you, unless he's just special like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why it's so surprising. I don't understand why he's not at least getting signed for a training camp look to see if he's healthy or not.
I just think where is still so up in the air. Like nobody really has a spot where he could either start automatically or he's the second QB to somebody that's actually worthy of being first up before him.
Yeah.
None of the situations really make a lot of sense.
It's either going to be he goes somewhere like Los Angeles Chargers or Denver, who have young QBs, unproven, and he competes for a job, or he goes somewhere like James did with New Orleans, where you got an older QB who might be out the door soon, and maybe Cam can come into that spot.
Yeah, I feel like Jameis is in a situation where, like, hey, hopefully when Breeze is done, y'all believe in me enough to put me in this slot.
I love Jamie's situation right
Yeah.
now.
He gonna learn a lot in that situation.
Definitely. From Sean and from Drew.
Mm-hmm. But see, Cam wouldn't. There's no situation for he to sign that's like that.
Yeah, because he already been in the league for 8-9 years, so it ain't really much more you can teach him at this point.
What you make of the Packers drafting a QB? Aaron Rodgers saying he hopes to still play till he's 40.
I don't know what the Packers on, bro. As you can see, I'm a Bears fan, but like no bias talk right now. The Packers drafted terribly.
Yeah.
You have Aaron Rodgers, who's still a top 10 QB in the league. You have no receivers at all, and you don't draft one.
Yeah.
Like, forget the Jordan Love pick. You didn't draft any weapons at all.
And that's something they haven't been doing for a while. So it was surprising, but it wasn't. You know. What last thing on football, what do you make of Dak still not being signed?
Terrible. Signed Andy Dalton, but you don't sign Dak.
The Andy Dalton told me, like, we're prepared. If you don't come back.
That is what it is.
Like, either you're gonna take this money or we're prepared to move on.
Because Andy not a scrub like we finna rebuild. Like Andy can step into that team and they can, only drop off a little from Dak. I think Dak's a better player, obviously, but Andy is decent enough to have them competing for sure.
We'll finally get to see him with a complete team. It was always something missing in Cincinnati every year. Or there was always a situation where they were providing him the best roster possible.
Yeah.
Like Dallas getting CeeDee Lamb. Like the offense was already great based off the numbers last year. And then you throw in another high draft pick receiver. Like whoever the QB of this team is going to be has been provided as much as they can provide you.
Definitely.
I guess before we head out, I just wanted to touch on some new music, man. There's been a lot of music that's dropped. I've been loving this Drake, to be honest. I didn't think I was going to like this Drake this much. Like, it's been on repeat, though. I listened to some of that now, bro. I really wasn't that into it. I didn't even finish it, bro. I think, because I listened to it late, like, well after it came out. So I went straight to the deluxe, and it seemed like almost overwhelming. Like, I got to go back and take my time with it.
Yeah.
Like, I saw the trailer, and I'm like, damn.
That's a lot of songs.
Yeah. Almost like whenever you look at those old Chris Brown albums, like, damn, this
Man.
is a lot.
Man.
It's like a flight. It's like a flight.
Nah, yeah, for sure.
What you been listening to?
I definitely do like the Drake, for sure. It's like getting better with time, too, which is kind of weird. I'm definitely a big fan of the Nav. But I will say of the Good Intentions, though. Like, before the deluxe, I was, like, really blasting Good Intentions. Like, crazy. I definitely think that's, like, a really nice album.
I like this Roy Woods EP.
I haven't even listened. I seen you...
that Roy Woods decent. This Future, alright. It's okay.
It's straight, yeah. We gotta stop comparing Future to old Future, man, because it ain't coming back.
Yeah, this ain't college Future.
It ain't coming back.
That little baby still crazy, though. I like that deluxe.
For sure. Definitely I gotta give Far some love, though. I definitely checked out his album. It's pretty smooth. That's called Life is Art, I believe. Oh, that's the old one.
You talking Farad?
Yeah.
I still gotta listen to that. We gotta get him on here, bro. It's a lot of people we gotta get on here.
Yeah.
That should have been on here. That Kehlani cool.
Oh, yeah.
That Weekend cool.
Yeah.
There's been some good music in this quarantine, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta hear
Kehlani's decent, for sure.
I gotta hear that Future when I get outside, though. I gotta get outside to this Future. Might change it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to discuss?
Music-wise, I'm trying to think music. That's... Somebody did drop something. I just can't think right now.
Shoot, Larry June dropped. That was cool. That Thug and Chris dropped.
Oh, yeah. That Thug and Chris actually kind of decent, bro.
Y'all heard the Polo G yet?
I haven't heard the Polo G yet.
I listened to that all the way through.
I actually don't.
It's not. I ain't gonna lie. I don't like it as like as much as I like the first one, but it's solid though. But I think I just got to play it back again to catch some of
Yeah.
It was some decent tracks on there, but it was like it ain't topping the first one he dropped. Like that first album he dropped was crazy. Like I had that on repeat, bro. But this one I listened to him decent, and then play it back. The other one I played it back like a few times.
That's crazy.
So the Polo G decent.
This Childish Gambino not bad either.
A lot of people's hyping up the Dirt too, but I only like
I ain't had the
3 or
Dirt
4
yet.
songs on the Dirt. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I'm not the biggest Dirt or Polo G fan.
Yeah.
I fuck with Polo G.
It was somebody else that dropped that I don't really listen to. Rod Wave.
Oh, I didn't even listen to that.
Yeah. I heard that was like
I ain't
really
listened
good.
to it.
Yeah, I did too.
I heard that was really good. But I definitely ain't heard it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick to this Drake right now. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like such a hype, bro. But that project's smooth. That project's smooth. So that's it.
Yeah, man. That's it for today, man.
Man. We gotta get some guests on here, bro.
Yeah, man. We definitely gonna get some interviews in as quarantine's dying down now.
It all changed with Corona, bro.
Yeah.
We cannot. It was supposed to go so different with like college basketball, going to NBA playoffs. Like it was supposed to be so different.
Yeah.
But I gotta get out of here though. I'm sweating like a motherfucker.
Yeah, it's hot as
3D
hell.
pod, man.
It's definitely hot in here too.
Oh, damn.
Hot as hell.
You a fool, bro. Hey, I was definitely
Sweating.
Hey, I was finna hit Sean with the phone, get that air.
Oh, the air would have fucked the audio up so bad.
I'm like,